Dummy Switch Pod. The boys
Yes,
are back. How are you,
sir.
Chris?
Yes, sir. Quotas. I'm good. Another win. A lot of good things that we've seen over the weekend, in the past few days. So, no, I'm good. I'm good. How you doing, bro?
Good myself, good myself. The Dan Carters of podcasting
Mm-hmm.
here to give you
Mm-hmm.
our opinions, our flagrant takes, our Bok takes and Bok opinions, seeing as it's that season. The
Yeah.
Dan Carters of podcasting, like I said.
Yeah.
Church announcements, you can catch us here, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the socials. Engage,
Yeah.
subscribe.
Let's
We're pushing.
engage.
Let's get the numbers up. Let's get the likes up. Uh, yeah, good week. All in all, I'll
Yeah.
say. Only bad
Mm.
news, which goes into the news of the day, is that Jasper Wiese had a bit
Yeah.
of he lost his head for a moment and
You
banned
did.
for 4 matches. So Springbok squad's been announced, and I think main headline is that his brother takes over at 8.
At 8. Yeah. Look, that's a big one. That's a surprise. I mean, look, I felt
But is it though?
Cobus
Is it
was.
really a surprise? Because we know these guys are gonna try
Nah,
and this guy can
nah,
cover here, this guy can
nah.
play here. And to be
Actually,
fair,
you see,
he has been very good the past season, even
yeah,
the season before. Since he's come back to the Bulls, he's been good. And he's
yeah,
been
and
playing
he looked
that,
good on the weekend as well.
yes, he looked the part and he's been playing 4 and 7. I
Mm,
know a lot of people just see him at 4, but he does play a lot of 7 for the Bulls, so it's
yes,
not that far off. Like once I
no,
saw it, I was like, yeah, I get it.
yeah, you get it. But for me, why it's a surprise is because you've got other guys, But obviously,
Which other
they've
guys?
seen, yeah,
Which other guys?
yeah,
Say the names because
yeah,
obviously the Stormers supporters are going to say
yeah.
it should have
Look,
been Ruiz.
I'm not saying
Uh,
that. All I'm saying is that there's other guys. We've seen Kwacha play
yeah,
there before. We've seen Sia play at 8
yeah.
for his franchise. Things like that. That's
How long what is this paternity leave?
hey,
Jean-Luc Dupria
hey
is
man,
gone. He hasn't. I'm
hey,
sure the baby's come. So,
yeah. Look,
he was another guy that I thought maybe he'd be
yes,
involved.
yes, even him as well. So that's why I say surprise in that sense,
Yeah,
because we're used to seeing a particular picture, then now, just like the game on the weekend, there was something else, where it says,
mm,
okay, you're seeing it like this, but we're seeing this, and
yeah,
that's why they're in the hot seats, the coaches and the selectors, because they have a clear objective in terms of what they want to do, what the type of
yeah,
depth they want to build, certain players that they want to seemingly have in the squad, and they'll do anything, you know, to help them find, because there's something they see, you know.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, but okay, okay. Let's
yeah.
see, because like I say, he looked good. He looked good in
Yeah.
the green jumper on the weekend, like how he was playing, how he was getting around the park, his physicality, so yeah, he looked the part, so why not as well, Why not? If it
Yeah,
doesn't work, it doesn't work.
personally, I suspect it'll work. I
Yeah.
rate him highly as a player. It was between him
Mm-hmm.
and Jason Jenkins for who was going to come in at that lock position. But I felt like he edged him, especially. I mean, that they
Mm-hmm.
both can play flank, but I just felt like he edged him in terms of performance. And then when you see how comfortable he is, so it's
Yes.
not. I would have selected him at 8. I
Okay.
don't know, but let's go news of the other news of the day, which is the lineup. We've got Bowen
Yeah.
Venter, Manus van der Merwe, Neethling
Mm-hmm.
Forshia, front row, all debuts.
Yeah,
From
I
there,
know
we've
there's
got,
there's there's jobs there. There's jobs, eh?
yeah, there's opportunities. You just need to
There's
apply in those
jobs. There's
positions. You just need
jobs.
to apply
There's
in those
jobs.
positions.
Yeah.
We've got Etzebeth coming back. Nokia is retained. Kolisi is back. Peter Steph
Mm,
stays. Cobus Wiese at 8. Grant Williams stays. We've got Sasha that's at 10 there. Aronsa
mm,
comes back into it. Dialendi comes back into it. Kanan Moody retains his place.
mm-hmm,
Edwell also retains his place. We've got Fassi there taking over from Willie. And on the bench, Mbonambi, Dutoy, Koch, RG, Quacker Smith, Faf de Klerk, Andre Pollard, Damian Willemse.
Yeah,
So yeah, like I said, if you're just gonna look over it, front row, all debuts. I don't know. Are you seeing anything interesting in the forwards besides that? Obviously, we are relatively full strength besides Visa out. If you're looking at
yeah,
the rest of the lineup in the forwards.
yeah. Yeah, looking at the rest of the lineup, yeah, lineup definitely full strength. I think, look, it's time now. These guys, it's their opportunity. The front row, to show what they can do. Um, and we have to look. You have to build that depth. You have to build that experience. I mean, if you think about it, it's 2026 is here, then it's 2027 World Cup, so there's got to be guys that you need to know, and give them the opportunities. They've
But
seen things, so
there's also a line between building depth and now
mm.
every game we're just changing the
But
team.
it's the luxury that's the thing but here's the thing, it's the luxury that we have, that
Yeah,
that the Springboks have, and also it's a thing is that the way that the Springboks play, the type of it's big physicality has got to be there.
yeah,
Work rate has got to be there. To do that week in, week out, it takes a toll. We saw it in the World Cup. Yes, they managed to pull off the wins, but it takes a toll. So I think from a perspective of having guys that will be able to come in and replicate, but also bring whatever they bring.
yeah,
And to keep um, that consistency, is that no matter who plays, you're still going to get the more or less the same sort
yeah,
of power, same performance, and then with the bit of individual flair that comes in, whatever the guys bring. So I understand when you say there's a fine line, but I also see it as that, at any stage, because injuries happen,
yeah,
injuries happen, things change very quickly. And all of a sudden, Dion Fury is playing the World Cup final,
yeah.
the things like that, they happen, so yeah, from a long-term view, yeah, I see it. And I mean, it's the opportunity. Italy, Georgia, I don't think we'll see too much of this when now we're going into,
Yeah,
the,
that's where it'll be interesting in rugby
yeah,
championship when things are a bit more
yeah.
strict.
Because then we're gonna
Uh,
see, okay, who are the guys that they're releasing. I think we're going to we will see the sort of the next guys they're going to
yeah,
feature more in the rugby championship. And I think this is just, because they know what they've got in the vets,
mm,
in the so and it's just about getting those guys on form, getting them at the level. Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, man. Quarters. I think it's the opportunity, it's the luxury that you'd be amiss to not use this opportunity as well.
Yeah, you've got Bowen Fenter, you know, I'd say that loose head spot is one of those where injuries have led us a bit light. It's a good opportunity for him. Hooker as well.
Yeah.
Nyetling for sure coming in at tight head. It's always a battle between him and Klabakanya. I think and Klabakanya will edge him in the end and he'll fall out when it starts getting
Mm-hmm.
to the more tougher games. Question I want to ask Rowan Nokia, when we talk about the rest of them being
Mm-hmm.
starters, because without Visa obviously being suspended, has Nokia edged Franco Mostert in terms of a replacement here? Is this
Very good.
when I'm talking about four, five,
Yes.
six, seven, and eight would
Yeah.
have been the other Visa? Is this our four down to
Mustard.
eight? Is this the strongest?
Yes, I'd say not strongest, but it's
Or is this our
it,
new starting team? Are they trying to phase Nokia in?
they are. I think, like you said, you mentioned Mustard. I think in that Mustard role, because he can give you, he can run the lineouts there at five, and then he can also, provide the loose forward cover. So in that respect, yes, it's that Mustard-like type of player, and I don't think we weaker with him there. I think with the way that he runs the lineouts, I think it's a stable base, and and they have to phase him in because he played last season and he delivered. and that's why
Yeah.
he's there, So you want a guy like that. You want to give him minutes, because it's a bit. We know it can be anytime now. Like he gets injured, then he's out, or it's a head knock because he's a big cog in terms of the forward dominance. So and then there's other guys maybe that at the moment they're not right. They're not there yet. You've got Lurt coming back in as well. So I think it's you have to you have to give a guy like this an opportunity because after 27, if he makes it there, he could possibly give you another one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think we're weaker. I'll say that. Strongest. Look, you can add other guys in there. Do what's strongest. In terms of do you
Yeah.
want the physical, to utterly dominate physically, or do you also want to
Yeah,
control
because
your
from
big
my
piece as well?
perspective, he was valuable in terms of lineouts, but besides
Mm.
that, he was kind of largely anonymous in that game. He didn't
and and
give
and
much
and, and a bit of
outside of
work
that.
rate cleaning up,
Yeah.
the loose balls of the kicks and things
Yeah,
like
but
that.
that's
Those,
uh that's
but
that's easy
but
when you're in a team
yeah,
like that. Even me or you could even just clean there, just put a
Eh,
shoulder there when you're in such a dominant team. So I
yeah,
won't give him that. Looking at the backline, only the thing for me that stands out is the guys that were retained. That obviously Moody he had a good game. Edwell man of the
yeah,
match game, and then those are the two guys retained. I think that's the only thing. Besides that, oh, and Williams obviously is
yes.
Williams our starting
He's
nine.
your he's your number nine.
He's our nine.
He's your number nine. He's got to be your number nine because uh, just his presence brings a different aspect to the box attack, and you pair him up with a guy like Mani, you pair him up now. This is also another what we need to see a different 10 with him. You pair him up with a guy
Yeah,
like Sasha. It he's your number nine. I think
yeah,
he's way ahead of Van der Berg. I think Faf, yeah, as much as he still has value, he can still add a lot to the team, but I think he's far ahead of him as well. So, and then you've got Reinach in there as well. That's, he's your, he's a out and out, he's a true squad man. He's a true team man. If you need him, he'll be there.
yeah,
So, yeah, he's your number nine. For me, he's your number nine.
yeah. And then the only other thing for me, it'll be interesting to see how Sasha goes. He
Yeah.
hasn't had the best form towards the end of the season, and then coming into the box, and then obviously we've seen Lobok have good performances, Pollard
Yes.
so performances.
Mm.
So just to see how he measures, for me, the ranking still stands. I don't know who's one or two between Pollard and Sasha, but it's like that, and then under that is Lobok.
Look, here's what I think. Right, this is just my opinion. If you want to play Tony Ball in the way that they want to play, where they can launch and hit you because now the box they can hit you from the 22 if they want,
Yeah,
from their own 22. They can hit you from deep. There's different ways that they can hurt you. And if you want to play like that, Money is your guy. You know,
yeah,
for me, Money is your guy. He's got to be your guy. But I think they're trying to get Sasha to be that guy so that because he's the future. So
yeah.
but for me, Money, if you want to play Tony Ball, Money is your guy because he can run that thing. It suits him. Because yeah, for me, he's got to be your guy if you're gonna go that way. And I mean, has he played badly? He hasn't. You know what I mean? He
He
hasn't.
hasn't played bad. He
So
hasn't played badly. So
so so, and then if you compare that, you look at Pollard is a goat and everything like that. I see in his veins when it counts. 3 points and all of that. He still got the value.
yeah,
For that. Yeah, you know what I mean. For that, he can still do that. So I think even that's why now you see he's on the bench, and I think we're gonna see a lot more of that where maybe Pollard will be on the bench, or depending on how they want to approach the game, he'll
yeah.
probably start. But there'll be a different type, obviously, because the tens are different. There'll be either a Sasha or a Manu on the bench waiting to be unleashed, So yeah, so
Yeah.
Sasha, it'd be interesting to see how it goes, yes, But I think with Grant Williams there, and then also the experience of Dearland, I think he'll be settled and he should deliver a good performance.
Yeah. Just the other thing there in the replacements to Toy in at loosehead, unfortunately, he had to come off in this game due
Yeah,
to red cards and that, and obviously loosehead not being he's a swing prop. He plays both loose and tight head, but loosehead now when you down a man, they had to bring on Ox. So, we'll see if he gets some decent minutes out there. And then yeah, Fassi Willems, the competition there, it just
yeah,
continues.
yeah. It continues for sure, Um, But I want to say this before. You'll see even with Ken and Moody now they're at 13. I think we're going in that direction where we're going to see guys getting more where they see guys in the future. In the
Yeah,
box setup. And I think Moody, that's going to be his
his
future there
position.
at 13. You know, because we have to start thinking about that. Like I mentioned it last week with Dialende and Krill. The age is also not on their side.
But they made Creel
So
captain, so we don't. Creel, I think he's got a bit more legs in him. I understand what you're saying.
yeah,
He's got a bit
yeah,
more legs, but for me, again, it's kind of like Pollard and Lubbock. They play those position totally different.
yeah. You
They
see,
Moody, the things that you see Moody do, you're not necessarily going to see Creel doing those things,
yeah.
and
But
vice
but
versa.
just like
So
Krill, you'll grow into that. In that, I think it's tighthead and 13 for me, one of the most technical
yeah,
positions on in rugby. So he'll grow into it. So yes, Krill still got legs, for sure. But I'm
mm,
just looking at the long term, how they're seeing it, And then, but yeah, bench, you can see, the old guard is still there, So if anything, if you need to, in case of emergency, break the class, we'll see that. But I think it's also about guys getting the minutes,
yeah.
making sure guys have played rugby, in the box setup, and they're showing the right pictures. So it'll be interesting because even with Willems there, yes, he's there. You could say, yeah, maybe him and Fassi, yes, the competition is going, but wouldn't be surprised if you see him come on at 12, you know,
Yeah,
as well, potentially, and depending on how things play out. But otherwise, solid enough team, man.
yeah. Moving on to this last weekend's game, just a broader perspective, felt like the breakdowns were a bit of a problem, but at the same time, it's like you can't. Rarely are you going to dominate in all areas. There has to be give
Yeah,
and take, and you'll find that sometimes when you focus more on one thing, the other team is going to pinpoint you in another area.
yeah,
So breakdowns, it just was an issue. And the other thing is lineouts when the subs came in. You saw
yeah.
Nortjé, he did a lot of work in those lineouts. When he came off, they lost a few of them.
I
Also,
will say this as well.
Jan Hendrik
Okay,
Wessels,
cool.
he was 2 out of 5
Yeah,
for lineouts, and I don't want to hear the thing of like, yeah, but what about the jumpers? What when Dweber misses a throw, you don't say what about the jumpers. So
yes.
from that perspective, it's unacceptable when it comes to the guy worked around the field, yes, but for me, two areas breakdown lineouts when we do make those changes.
Yeah, look, I thought the breakdown was a bit better though this past weekend. There was definitely an improvement, and also I think there was better control at the back, at the base, with Grant there better, and I think you saw faster decision making, in terms
Yeah,
of clear on how he, the areas that he wants to hit. Um, so I think for me, yes, it was better compared to the other game, the first game against Italy. The breakdown was the attacking breakdown was better, and then you saw even on defense how Escom, they came into the game, and he
Yeah.
had an effect as well. So yeah, I think definitely room for improvement. There at the breakdown, but I thought much better this time
Yeah.
around. And then yes, the lineouts. I hear you mention Nokia. But you know, I'm here. I am. I'm going against the grain here. I felt even Captain. Yeah, I'm practicing Muraticism. Yeah, I felt that he did well. You know, I
Yes.
felt that for somebody that last played, the 10 minutes of the final, I thought he was solid enough. Yes, there were aspects to his game where you could see he was thinking about getting through his minutes, like his
Yeah.
allotted minutes. There was that one drop ball, and he sometimes didn't seem to have that conviction in his own physicality,
Yeah.
but I believe for me, he was solid enough on the weekend. He had a decent outing, and the lineups were working well, even when he was there as well.
Okay.
So Lele, you know, all I'm saying,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Let's.
taking this crash, but I'm going against the grain, you know.
No, no, I'm not arguing with you. Okay, if we dive deeper, start right from the beginning. It's really
Yeah.
100th cap, big occasion for him. We've got Ntlaba Kanye makes his debut, Visa, Hooker as well. And like you said, the captain of all captains, Moerat, Captain High School, Captain
Oh,
Craven Week, Captain Curry
yeah.
Cup,
Captain,
Captain.
Captain.
When he steps on
No,
a ship, he's the
Captain.
captain of that.
Captain.
Everywhere he's captain. So he's captain of the
Captain.
box here. Uh, like you said, halfback changes, and immediately from the beginning, we see tricks now. Kickoffs
Yeah.
not going the designated thing on purpose
Yeah.
for the scrum. How did there's this whole thing about innovation when it comes to the Springboks. And to be honest with you, I won't lie, the novelty has worn off for me. You know, sometimes I'm like, guys, let's just do a proper kickoff. Let's just kick it deep, and then we trap them in their territory, and then we
Yeah.
can play for it. Why
Yeah.
why why are we now conceding a scrum which is going to be there put in, and then you saw what happened? We conceded a free kick.
Mm. Look, I think they're trying things, just to say that, listen, this is how we, looking at it. I saw it as okay.
Yeah, you
It
can
was
try things,
halftime.
but it doesn't mean you can't try everything. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
when you go buy ice cream and there's flavors, you can't just you'll see one and I mustn't try
You know
this
what
one
you want.
because
Yeah,
yeah, you can't. So you say
but
we just try everything.
yeah, look, quarters. But I mean, look at the opposition. You can't blame them for thinking, okay, we can try and see if certain things we can,
Yeah,
engineer these situations, engineer these scenarios, So I think, yeah, I understand what you're saying. You can't just try all the flavors, but you've got to keep it fresh. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
already everybody knows with the Springboks, you have to bring the physicality. The set piece is going to be,
But these guys,
so
they're trying everything. Now we're doing lineouts in the middle of the field. This is when I say ice cream. We're now eating chicken flavored ice cream. We're doing things that you're trying things that is not necessarily meant to be tried.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But hey, look, the lineouts, the midfield lineouts, they worked. I mean, we've seen something similar to that, except it wasn't a
Yeah.
lineout. The move in a different form. So I mean,
I mean, that
look,
move, if we're being honest, that move has always been there in terms of the maul, where a player would receive the ball, make contact, turn his back, then they form a maul around him. So all they've done is they've taken out that point of contact and they've put it now in the air.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's always been there. So look, I'm not against it, but like I understand where you're coming from. Is that sometimes you just want to see that precision to say, okay, you know, give us that picture of,
Yeah.
it's we kick off, we chase, we tackle, we scrum, we execute the things that the ABCs. Uh,
Mm.
but yeah, look, if you don't know, if you don't try, you won't know. So
Yeah.
they'll know things now. So Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, other things in that game, the backline moving more smoothly. And I mean, the thing is, it was a more exciting team that they picked. So to see more excitement, it's kind of what you expected. The
Yeah,
tempo there with Grant Williams versus what Fair Flight would give you. Pollard,
yes,
yeah, Pollard Hive. There I
yeah.
have to watch my words. I have to watch my words. But Pollard, he had an average game the game before, and
Yes,
he wasn't running the back line in this way. Now you get Money there who is running it better, and you can see those loop moves, how well he did to
yeah,
stay on his feet to get that pass away to Edwell.
yeah.
We have eyes. We can see that the back line is more operational when you've got these kinds of players there.
Hence why I was saying if you're going to play Tony Paul, he's your guy, you know,
Yeah,
and also Sasha because he can also give you that, and then he can give you the physical attributes of a Pollard because he's got the height, you
yeah,
know. But yeah, backline definitely, you know, exciting. We saw even the experience of Mapimpi coming in there, you know, affecting, you know, coming off his wing, affecting a turnover, you know, getting involved, and Esterhazen, you know, the experiment. I thought I would never see it again, but hey, look, in this game, he was needed there at flank, you know. So
yeah,
um, and Moody, I think Moody as well. Moody being Moody, showing you know that you know his quality. Edo van der Merwe, yeah. Look, he can definitely improve. Maybe some like on the high balls, but we saw that improvement as the game went on, which
yeah.
is good to see. You know, and then obviously his finishing ability. And then I want to say this, Quarters. You know, look, Vidi's got his 100. You know, I mean, I think no, it's thank you. You know, I'm just like,
He's
you
done.
know,
You're saying he's done.
look,
He left
look
us
for
with a
these.
with a with a with a solid 6 out of 10 performance. He left us. He
Yeah,
left.
in game fixtures like this, yeah, you know,
Yeah,
you can utilize him, and you know, but I just think the pace is going to be, you know, the speedsters around him, you know, they're going to leave him behind, you know, so it's got
yeah.
to be somebody there that can you know do the things, and that's why Fassi and Willemsa, that sort of contest is interesting, you know.
Yeah, just other things from the game. Atmosphere. The atmosphere looked electric there.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
crowd were really involved. And I think that goes to them not having test matches as regularly, even if they're just
mm,
getting the scraps of Italy. But
yeah.
yeah, besides that, backline running well. Jasper Wiese lost his head. 4 matches.
Hey,
We always say it's not a refereeing podcast. Even the headbutt itself, it's but it's
the
not a
action.
refereeing podcast. You just have to take it. It is
Mm.
what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, you did the crime, you know, or you
Yeah.
committed the act, and it was on TV. So he's got to do the time
That's
now,
my
you know.
thing, where it's like you could get away with these things before, and before it was like fine that's what you want to do. Me, I have no problem with it. But the thing is, in the game that we're in now, it's silly
Yeah,
to do those kinds of things when you know that it's going to
yeah,
get picked up. And you
yeah.
know also, as the player, he got baited and he fell for it. He fell
Because
for
he
it,
was
and
walking away. If you look at he was walking away, and then
yeah.
he just turned around and hey, I'm not taking this. You know,
And look,
I'm
do you
not.
see? As soon as that guy fell in contact, where did he look? The
He
ref.
looked
You
at
look
the
as
ref
soon
and
as he's like,
said,
you
"Hey," it's
see.
like, you know.
So he
So
he he
yeah,
he fell for it. He fell for it. So I mean that's unfortunate. And what that did was it disrupted the momentum of the game.
definitely.
So it even Volko Low again.
Yeah,
You just want smarter. I know the guys dropping things happen, but you want players to think a bit more. You want smarter players. It's
yeah,
unfortunate, and again that disrupted play. That yellow card, Ox had to come on. One thing I will say about Ox is he showed up the scrum just with him
yeah,
there at
yeah,
Lucid, and
yeah.
I felt like he had a big shift. If there's no scrum off, he'll always come and play scrum
He's
off.
that guy. He can distribute the
He'll
ball.
yes, he'll put
Those
in
those 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 attributes that he's got, man.
yeah.
Jeez, and like not spoken about enough. you
Yeah.
know?
He'll come in and he'll make a dominant hit so that someone else can make the steal. It's things like that that you don't necessarily pick up with stats or whatever, but very good game for him. Moerat, what I will say is that the knock-ons and the penalties, they don't help with his public image. But
Yes,
again, I'll give my brother some leeway.
yeah,
I'll buy into the Muraticism that is happening
yeah.
right now, and I'll say, you
Come
know
on,
what?
get onto the Muraticism.
Yeah, no, I'll give him
I
the
mean,
benefit of the doubt.
Cobus Wiese is playing eight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hendrik Wessels, a hooker next time is a loose head, so
Yeah, that's
Muraticism.
actually true because with Jan Hendrik Vessels, everything is no, he's got a high ceiling, the versatility, the thing. So I guess in the same way that they make excuses for
Monoticism.
him,
Come on.
let's
Yeah,
also
monoticism.
let's he was the captain of all captains. We
Yeah.
must put our faith.
It's
Uh
Captain van die Speler. What do they say? But that,
Other players, Van Staden, 3 games in a row, and he's playing better. I think it just shows what
Yeah,
consistent game time gives you.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and just besides that, Boks, fine, the lineouts weren't great. They were breakdowns, like I said, but all in all, if you look at the amount of tries that they scored, I think they were all off set piece. And they were all off set piece because of the amount of pressure that Italy was falling under and conceding all of those penalties. So
yeah,
when you look at that pressure, that's another thing that to say that it was a very very big positive aspect. The pressing and they were alert. They were on it. They didn't give them. I mean, it was 0 points.
yeah. Better energy. There was better energy in this game.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a better energy. I'll say this though, like especially early on, yes, even after the yellow card, but I think just before they labored a bit to convert, in the 22. I
yeah,
think they won't be too like they'll not that they won't be too happy with that, but that will be something that they want to work on because in bigger tests, if you get those opportunities for those entries, you need to
yeah.
make sure that you convert, because you won't get as many opportunities. But yeah, the pressure, it was like I said, better energy from the whole team.
Yeah, even that, I mean, as well as Lubbock played, there's always going to be that thing. Yeah, but the kicks when it's, a game that's tight, when it's a game, But for me, I felt like he played well. His kicks were
Yes.
contestable. His kicks for
Mm.
line were very good. But
Yeah.
again, what happens is you're always going to be remembered for the one that you missed off touch. Grant Williams,
Yeah.
his kicks were also good. Reinach, him as well. I must say that his playmaking was terrible, but his kicks were good when he came on.
No, that's squad man.
Mm,
He's allowed to do that because he's Mr. Reliable in that 9 jersey, which is, when you think about it, it's actually a luxury to know that there's that guy that,
yeah,
if the others are not, he can do that. And yeah, Williams's box kicks. Williams just had a hot game. He was just,
yeah,
yeah, he was just being him, and I think Libok, besides, yeah, he's kicking for posts. I think it's something that he can fix. I think it's also related to how he positions the ball more than anything. You know
yeah.
how he's placing the ball on the tee as opposed to his action. But he fixed that in the game. So that's what you want to see. Where previously he'd miss one or two, then be in that
Yeah.
slump. But now, he can fix it in the game. So, oh man, like
Yeah, I
what
think
what more what more do you want?
he's his confidence is up there. Mapimpi getting the try. I think that one we could have said even before the game. He has to score at home.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
has to score at home.
yeah.
Yeah, and just I think Ruiz as well. He came in and had a nice
He
shift.
had a good cameo. Yeah, the carries. He showed the physicality
Yeah.
there. So he had a good cameo. He
So
did. He
I'm
did.
sure that's why the Stormers are
No,
disappointed
but
at seeing Visa at
yeah, look, you
eight.
can understand, but there was just something different about the way Visa was
Yeah.
carrying himself on the field there, if we're being honest. So I can understand. I think Ethan Hooker getting on, yeah, unfortunately, he didn't get
Yeah.
like too much of opportunity, but in what he needed to do, he did well. Sasha also coming on. Sasha came on at 15.
Yeah, he came on for
Came on
Willie.
at 15. So you see that there's a lot that can happen. There's a lot that can happen.
Yeah, man. Ah, I'll be Pollard Hive. You can't say anything about that guy. You can't say anything about that guy. But
It's okay. But
yeah,
Salah, you have eyes.
yeah. Besides that, like you said, Vessels, he got bailed out in that he scored a try, but 2 out of 5 for the lineouts. It's something that we need to, because obviously he was good in play, and one thing I must say is that
Yeah,
he does track down teams when
yeah,
they do make a
yeah,
break to
yes,
once they get behind the lines. He's one of the first guys there making cover defense and doing
true.
those kinds of things. But it's like that is great, but the
But
fundamentals, the things that you can't have a car with a nice interior, but the wheels
the
has got a
minimum
punch.
requirements for the job.
Yes, yes. So those are the things that we need to see from him moving forward. But any closing remarks from you? I think from me, more entertaining. First half was better. Cards kind of killed the momentum, killed it as a spectacle, as something that you're just watching. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Look, from me, all I'm saying is that we're gonna see. There's a lot that can happen, man. I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
so Sasha there, he came on at 15, so there's a lot that can
Sasha
happen.
is flat, man. Sasha, I'm sorry, he's off form. That guy is. We must. He
let the
towards the
boy
end of.
enjoy himself. Let the boy enjoy himself. 15, 10 bench, not play.
I'm hoping for the best in this game, and that he
Yeah,
does
true.
find the spark. But he has been flat towards the end of the season
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
Stormers, and then coming
yeah,
into this. And I think it's that thing
yeah.
of permanently playing 10 now. It's
Mm,
it's different. It's different from
mm,
playing 12, 15, and then having one or two. Because I mean, he was on fire when he
yeah,
started at 10, and then it fizzled out a bit. So I'm just hoping that he'll catch on a bit in this game, and then it just
yeah,
makes it more interesting between the three of them.
yeah.
Yeah, closing remarks, closing remarks.
Look, Boks to do it big again this weekend. I feel without too much of the bench impact. I think the starting,
Yeah.
but Georgia will be angry because of what happened against the Cheetahs. So yeah, it will be a contest for some, and especially even at scrum time. So it'll be a good test.
Yeah.
You know. Mm.
From me, it's not gonna be a test. They should have even just sent the cheaters again to finish them off. Just
No, let
finish
the
them
boys
off.
play, man. Let them get capped. Let them get capped.
Yeah, that's it from us, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
We are.